Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Remember her? You can text our show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Funny old studio we're in this morning.
Yeah, we're in a different studio. I've got a slight echoey me.
Possibly not in people's radios, though.
No, but I'm enjoying it. It's got an element of citizens of Cheltenham about it. Return to your homes.
Estate agents would call it bijou in here.
Yeah, it's cosy. I like it. We have now some of you regulars will remember that Charlie used to be the assistant producer. She's back today as the producer for today. Having had a brief sojourn, which I think is continuing on Christian O'Connell's show. The unfortunate thing is that one thing I really don't like about Charlie is that she's discreet.
Right.
I thought she was going to come with loads of gossip at the breakfast show. She has been stum.
Oh, she has with you.
So it's like that, is it?
One of your impressions of no one?
Yes.
Again?
I find you can't go wrong
a fan of those.
with an impression of no one, because people always think, well, not you, because I've let you in on my secret, but people think, oh, that's probably someone I should know.
Yeah.
So they laugh approvingly. Try it at home. What about this one? Oh, yeah, and I bet you did that again. I mean, just like him.
See, I know him.
Yeah. There might be some. If there's anyone listening who's got that exact voice, text in, and I'll put a name to it next time I do it.
Yeah.
The trouble is with them, they're so spontaneous, you can't always get them back again.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
They're like night terrors. You know, these people that see horrible faces before they go to sleep. It's like I get night impressions. Anyway, so I've had an interesting sojourn myself.
Oh yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
Broken.
No, I went up to Leeds. I went up there.
Another impression there.
And that was quite a good
How was
impression.
Leeds?
It was lovely, actually. I got off. I couldn't find my taxi when I got off.
That's unlike you with your immaculate sense of direction.
I know, I've had a lot of taxi trouble this week.
Jay-Z's follow-up?
I started walking around Leeds at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and a man shouted a Class A swear word at me about 8 times from about 6 feet away.
Oh dear.
But I don't think it was anything personal. I think he was troubled.
Oh, right.
But
that's quite close. I mean, I don't mind that from a passing van, but you know.
I know. I was drunk for 25 minutes just from that distance. No, but that was a terrible welcome. But it all turned out well. I was filming a drama. You see?
Of course you were.
What
Do you see?
drama?
It was a drama. Well, the great thing about it is it's called National Treasure.
Oh.
So when I was picked up the next morning, the bloke pulled up in his car, wound down his window and said, "National Treasure," and I said, "Well, now you come to mention it," which I got great pleasure
You
from.
must have been so happy at that moment.
And it just doesn't get any better than. Well, it does get better, obviously. That's not as good as life can get. But I was pleased with it. I was pleased with the neatness.
Was it a local taxi? I love a local taxi.
It was, yes. There are people that just drive for film companies. That's what they do.
Okay.
And
Thanks for telling me about the film industry.
It's all right.
A French lieutenant's woman. Oh no, I didn't get that part.
No, you didn't get that. I told you not to bring that up in front of Emily. Oh, you are Emily. Yeah, so it was. So I was playing me. I won't go into too many details because obviously, I mean, there are certain secrets one wants to keep before the show comes out. But I was playing me, which is an interesting challenge. Not as easy as it sounds.
Really?
Yeah, you sound surprised.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd be good at that. I mean,
well, I don't know. It's difficult. As I was getting dressed as me. Usually,
well, thereby hangs a tale. I mean, what wardrobe did they select for you?
Oh, well, they asked me to bring my own stuff.
Right.
Which...
Bit cheap.
Well, one likes to muck in.
The boot's on the other foot now, isn't it? Finally, Frank's providing clothes to television programmes rather than the other way around.
No, the boot was very much on the usual foot. No, it's quite a good idea if you're playing you. Because I was going to take my ring off before I went in. I thought they won't want this. And then I thought, actually, this is a fabulous attention to detail.
Yeah.
No, I thought just that it might be 90s you with the oversized, with the sort of replica shirt and the jean.
No, it's current. I wasn't in an England shirt with a clip-on beer belly. No, it was, it was the usual sort of dialogue. Morning, Mrs. Framlington. Lovely dog. Oh, Mr. Skinner, I haven't seen your wife for a while. No, well, she's staying with her sister. Yeah.
Is this from it?
You know when people murder someone in a drama, they say...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You spoiled it.
They're always staying with their sister.
Yeah.
But they don't say, as we would in real life, oh, no, she's at her sister's at the moment. They say, no, what happened? Yes, you see what happened is... They do like,
Yeah.
And those weren't my lines, but they could have been.
Well, you can't tell us your lines.
No, I can't tell us. I can't remember them, nor could I on the day. I mean, so many words.
Did you dry, dear?
No, I was all right, actually. I don't really want to get out of this bit on that. Have you got anything more interesting?
Well, we've got till 11 other than the adverts. We could just crack on, couldn't we?
What about when you set the fire alarm off this morning? That was awful.
Oh, yeah.
Well...
Why did you do that?
That's because Sarah said, I'm going to open this door. I've never opened this door before. I said, this is where the alarm goes off. She opened the door and the alarm went off.
It was a rewriting of history.
For 1 second, I felt how good it must be to be Derek Brown. There you go, that'll do it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, you may know I was doing a series of stand-up shows, if I can call them that.
Improv?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, just completely made up.
No, I meant, did it improv?
It didn't really improv. It was actually quite a lovely week doing it.
Did you?
This was
Great.
not the week just gone, the week before. Yeah. Tuesday night was a bit flat, but it was Pancake Day. Now, come on. I think that's good. You don't like
that's
that?
what worries me.
I like it.
Is that the sort of stuff you were doing? I've heard very good reports.
There wasn't anything of that standard.
Sounds a bit prepped, doesn't it?
That would have been yeah, exactly. That would have been the moment when I soared like a mighty comedy eagle. Mm-hmm. Yes. No.
So was it just all made up? You just went on and went, here we go?
Yes, it was...
I'm assuming you didn't start with an opening line, here we go?
Well, I did...
There he is.
I don't really
there
remember. It was... one of the gigs was Ash Wednesday, and I'd only had a sandwich, one sandwich, 2 rounds of bread, as they say.
Are you meant to starve yourself on Ash Wednesday?
Yes, you fast.
Oh, are you?
Oh,
And,
I must tell the girls at InStyle.
Yes. Well, it was actually
We'll come see you sometime.
It was a
at the
very
chapel.
good gig, so I can see now why InStyle is such a fine magazine. Starvation, it takes you to a new place.
Right.
It does, though. I found
Yeah, it's called The Front Row.
Yeah, okay. I got... I thought it was... You hear about, like... saints and that starve themselves and they have visions and all that. I thought it was quite a good place to be. I'm not, by the way, if anyone's listening, there's only young people.
No, we're not encouraging.
I mean, I felt a little bit like I was strung out. And I don't want you to feel that.
No, but we're talking about responsible fasting for brief periods.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Responsible fasting, that's the policy of this show.
That's it. I never got that email.
No.
So did it give you the taste for it then?
Fasting?
No, doing these improvised shows.
Well, it was
Did you think you'd like to do it again?
I don't know that I can resist doing it again. I feel a bit like I have nibbled at something which is quite compulsive.
Oh.
Don't know if you've ever done that.
Like dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate I can take or leave, I'll be straight with you.
Is that right?
I don't think there's a person on the planet who, honestly, if they took a truth serum, prefers it to milk chocolate. I think people say they prefer it to milk chocolate because it makes them sound a bit more mysterious and intellectual.
No, it's better.
It's not better. Oh, see, Alan.
I really think people think it through to those levels.
They don't think it through. If they were the sort of people who thought it through, they'd admit it was milk chocolate. Alan's saying it because he's still sulking about saying Descartes.
That was about 3 years ago.
And he thinks I can pull this back now if I pretend I prefer dark chocolate. Nobody prefers dark chocolate.
I think I do.
Well, I don't
You think
prefer
you do
dark.
already? I'm breaking you down.
I don't prefer dark or milk. I like sherbet-based.
Sherbet-based chocolate?
No, just sherbet-based food.
Oh,
No, but let's
I
stick to
can't cope with
chocolate. Stop
No, let's
broadening
not.
it. We've gone from fasting to sherbet.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Stop broadening it. You'd be no good at end of the pier, would you?
So, I tell you what, though, it's interesting to me. There was a man called Russell in the audience.
Which one?
It wasn't one of the famous Russells. There are so many of them now.
Brand Howard Kane. Those estate agents.
Yeah, and he kept a spreadsheet of films that he watched. So he wrote down the name of the film when he saw it, and I think at what cinema. It's just cinema films, not. And he had a database of 1,700 films.
With him?
Not
at your show?
Well, he might have had them on his smartphone. It wasn't
Of course,
such a
if
bad
he'd,
night. I was going to read those out.
If he'd printed them out, then that would have been nominative determinism, wouldn't it? Russell
Oh, excellent.
got a printout
Yeah.
of 1,700 bits
He
of
also
paper.
had 3 cattle with various brands. Russell brands. Anyway, so, and it made me think that when I fill in my journal, one thing I always put in is the time I wake up that morning.
Was that right?
So I know what time I woke up, April the 13th, 2004.
Right.
Now, why would I possibly need to know that? And what I wondered, if any of our readers have got anything unusual records that they keep, anything they keep a log of, or any kind of ledger.
Oh, yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
Not, obviously, Heath Ledger, but you know what I mean.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Sorry, we had a text in saying we sound like we're in a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
That was it George Michael from North London? So,
Oh, I love George.
me too.
Board Game Haver.
But I wouldn't want him as my chauffeur.
No, but it'd be a nice GBR.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's true.
Board Game Haver says, in response to your question, Frank, have people ever logged anything in the same way that you log your sleeping patterns? A bit odd. I've logged every board game played and the scores for the past 9 years.
Wow, I love all that.
Well,
What I want to know is, do people what's he called? Nigel Havers?
No, that's Board Game Haver. But do you think it's Board Game Haver? Who knows?
oh, yeah.
Could be. It could be a board game haver. I'm not sure about it as a as a noun haver, but I'm all right with it. I wonder if we don't know if they're male or female, but
he's male.
Okay, let's call him BGH.
Okay.
If BGH ever sits back and thinks, "Well, I'll have a look back, say 7 years back, and see how games up, how that went."
Yeah.
Now, what worried me about Russell, the film log man, is that he kept no record of whether he liked them or any view, not even a sentence on the film.
Oh.
Just the recording of what he'd seen and where.
Oh, that's
I
a
don't
shame.
understand why.
We've,
Also, I think there's a fair amount of lying about what films. Do you ever do that?
When you say you've liked certain films,
Well, no, when
or when
people
you say
say,
you've seen them?
Have you ever seen blah, blah, blah? Sometimes I'll say that I have.
Oh, I lied about Blade Runner for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't want that with him, though, would you? Because, you say to him, have you ever seen 101 Dalmatians? And he says, hang on, let me check.
Exactly, yeah.
And he's there for 3 hours looking through his... Yeah.
Hold
You
on.
see, this is when it comes in useful being Michael Owen. You've only got the 8.
That's
5?
true.
Is it 5?
No, it's 8, I believe, and one of them is Seabiscuit.
God, it hasn't come in useful being Michael Owen for ages. And now we've been reminded.
Unless you're a fan of the little short pens. John Barton says, I keep a note of all my baths and showers in my diary.
That is good.
I like him.
That is good.
Excellent. One would guess, you see, that would be a daily occurrence,
You
but
think?
maybe not.
Little insight into his cleanliness habits there.
But maybe he has more than one a day.
064 has texted, my friend Roger kept a book from the age of 18 to 41 which documented every Sunday League football game he'd played in, recorded a running tally of goals he scored and detailed descriptions of each one of them from Kirsten Cannock.
So do you think there's something very admirable about it?
Yeah. I mean, I bet that started in a sort of a spirit of getting better, like, if I write it down I'll be able to work on it, and then by the end it's just a habit.
There was a well-known footballer who did it. God, what was his name? Played for up front for West Ham.
Dean Ashton.
No, but
This is good radio.
It is.
Guess, though. Good guess.
On Talk Sport, this would be gold, absolute gold. But yeah, and he kept clippings and descriptions of each goal and everything. Bill Wyman was another bloke.
We need to ask
He didn't play up front for West
no.
Ham.
Danny
Everton.
Baker, you see, if he would know the answer to that, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't, not from my clue. Played up front for West Ham.
Okay.
It's vague.
Oh, I even guessed at the wrong team as well, Aston Villa on it.
What was I? Oh yeah, Bill Wyman kept a record of every Stones gig, kept ticket stubs,
Really?
stuff like that. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Ew! I used to go into an Irish pub where the manager, whenever you walk through the doors, would go, "No."
We've had
Oh, sorry. Okay, move on.
a message in
Message.
from Plastico Gonzalez.
Ah, Plastico.
Do you remember last
Impossible.
week?
Of course, I
He
remember.
got in touch. I can't remember why.
No, me neither.
Anyway,
No,
what was he was commenting? Will you both stop looking at the television? I'm going to have to turn it off.
I'm not looking.
Alan, all you're doing is staring at the TV.
I'm not looking at the television. I was
No.
looking at you.
Okay, good.
I've just got a wonky
Sound
eye.
like an abusive boyfriend. Plastico Gonzalez has said, email corner sounds sublime. Just one thing, it's Plastico, not Plastico. # Descartes.
Oh, I see.
Oh, how
I
about?
see.
I prefer Plastico.
Me as well. Plastico sounds a bit. Well,
I'm going to call him Plastico.
no,
Some people say plastic.
I'm going to call him Plasto. Isn't that an area of London?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
See, Plastico. Also, if it's a made-up name, don't we all own our own version of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you see a great painting, my interpretation is worth as much as that of the artist. Next. So, it was Valentine's Day last week. Can I mention that? This is my belly, for any of you who want to know what it
What
sounds
are you
like.
hitting your stomach on Valentine's Day mentions? Is that a thing?
Well, I
Have
saw
you been hypnotised?
over at
Yeah.
yours, you had a balloon left over from Valentine's Day.
Well,
I noted.
I went. We went out for a meal, and we went to a local restaurant. And
Curry House.
It was a curry house.
That's my
actually.
stomach. Did
Sorry.
you hear my tummy rumble as we mentioned food?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations, as it's Fashion Week.
Yeah, exactly. We're just ready for an improvised gig. So we went, and it was one of these places where the ladies were given a single red rose.
Oh, lovely.
And also, as we left, the manager very kindly said, "Would you like some balloons for your little one?" I said, "Well, it might stop the circulation. That's my worry."
I didn't see that version of Up.
No, exactly. I'm afraid nowadays it's the only version of Up I have. But anyway, I feel this has gone a bit late night.
I know, but we don't do it often.
No. Again,
First part of trouble.
that's because the helium, it just doesn't last. So, so we walked home with Kath holding a single red rose and 2 heart-shaped balloons. It's one of those
lovely.
occasions I really wanted to be papped. And then I could be used by a lowbrow magazine. When I say lowbrow, I mean one that isn't published by Bauer, who own this station. God bless them. I published in a magazine in one of those competitions, which what occasion was Frank Skinner celebrating? Text in blah blah blah. Your text will cost £9.50, and you'll win a My Little Pony.
Yeah.
One of those things. We were so Valentine's Day. We were so. What's that one? SoMoney.com. I can't remember what the other bit
I think
is.
it's Money Supermarket, isn't it?
Is it? Yes,
Oh,
we will
yeah.
sell that.
But, you know.
I'll tell you something that happened. Now, where would you interpret this? Me and my partner, Kath, and I bought each other the same Valentine's card.
No
Oh,
way.
did you?
Yeah.
That's a good sign, though.
I think that is
a great
Is it?
sign.
That suggests, A, we're on the same wavelength, and B, neither of us could be bothered to walk further than 50 yards to the shop that
Oh, was it from the news
Never mind
agent
the same
down the road?
wavelength. You're on the same street. That's what I'm
I
thinking.
know, but it was. I thought that was. I felt good that we'd chosen.
I think
the
that's
same.
lovely.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
In many ways, my wife and I got each other the same cards by not getting any cards. That's
Did you not get that?
Can I say that's less lovely?
Yes.
it is a bit less lovely.
And we also, this is a bit odd, I always buy Kath a dozen red roses. Not that original.
Oh,
I know.
yeah. No,
This year she also bought me a dozen red roses.
Oh,
Oh, quite camp.
So we had 24 red roses, and then the single red rose from the. So we had
Right.
25 red roses. It looked like Cheryl Cole's lumber region in our living room, and I thought that was a bit too much.
did you?
But anyway, I'll tell you about. We bought each other gifts as well, which I think were quite unusual.
New cars.
No, I'm just thinking, if you had a gastric system that was motorbike influenced. Anyway, adverts, I think.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There is a reason that people stop presenting radio shows when they get to a certain age.
Yes.
Just when that
Would you
song,
care to elaborate?
that song was ending, I was going, hold on, where's my headphones gone? Where's my headphones? They were actually just round my neck where I always put them.
Oh dear.
Oh,
I believe I
God.
said they're round your neck, darling.
Oh, dear. Still, it's all right. It'll be over soon.
We've had a text. I'm not sure if this has got even more profoundness after that escapade. Hi, Frank, Lord
Or
Skinner.
profundity.
Profundity. Just wondering if you would ever go on Lip Sync Battle UK, and who would you battle against?
Fell off my chair,
now
sorry.
Emily's fallen off a chair. Can you two get it together? Let's put it on a radio show, guys.
It's all right. You're our rock.
Yes.
Would you ever go on Lip Sync Battle UK? That's what the question is. And who would you battle against?
Well, I don't think you can. I don't think it's been given a new
Did it not get the nod?
permission. No, I don't think it's had the nod.
What? It's not returning.
I'm not
no.
sure if it is. But anyway,
Oh, don't say
as
that.
you were,
There's Lip Sync synced.
apparently it paid very well.
And they
Sync.
threw everything at it, include even the kitchen lip sync. Well, I actually was going to do it. I agreed to do the first series.
But then what happened? You were in the car on the way there, and you still had your headphones on from the house, didn't
we
you?
couldn't make it work, dear. We just couldn't make it work. And I was given a choice, I think.
Well, he
of-
was doing his skits at the late night skits show.
Oh, I see.
I was given a choice of Kelly Osbourne or Dieter Von Teese.
Right.
Lucky man. You're a very lucky man, Frank
Yeah.
Skinner.
But it didn't happen, unfortunately. I was looking
Which
forward
would you
to
have
it.
gone for out of interest?
Well, it was mainly about dates, dear. I mean, I suppose I've met Kelly Osbourne, so it would have been more exciting to meet Dieter Von Teese, who I hear travels in a small mobile champagne glass at all times. But I'd be happy to shout up to her. Maybe you have to, when she works with you, you have to hold the bottom steady, like when you're working with someone up a ladder.
Yes.
But yeah, so it didn't happen. But I'd like to have done it. I had my songs lined up and everything.
701
Yeah.
has texted us. We have a witness. Do you remember last week you talked about an embarrassing incident where you told someone to get a life?
Yes.
Someone saw you do that.
Okay, we'll be back after this.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, 701 witnessed the incident, he says, in Deal. Hello all, I witnessed Frank's get a life in Deal.
Oh dear.
This was when you shouted at a man to get a life.
Well, this is a man, in case you weren't listening last week, in order to get past his wife on a narrow walkway, I said, excuse me, and he said, please. And we debated that, and I suggested that he got a life, which I said I look back as a bit...
Well, Rob says you did indeed say that, and just to identify himself and prove he was there, he says, I was the guy 5 minutes before who spoke to him about the podcast. Do you recall him?
Remember who?
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think he was in the vicinity to hear the... was he?
Of course he was.
Was he tailing me?
He's tailing you. He's a podcast listener. That's what they're like, aren't they? They're, we love them, but they're nerds, and they would follow you if they met you in the street, of course.
They do.
Yeah, I meet more.
I love that about them.
Yeah, me too. Well,
I think we're increasing in popularity.
Oh dear.
I had a gentleman approach me on the tube the other day.
What?
I mean, really?
What again?
You met a legend, it sounds like.
Yeah. It takes gods to approach someone on the tube.
Can I just say, don't come up to me, please, when I haven't got any makeup on. Okay? Don't shout, love the podcast, Emily, when I've got no makeup.
That's not going to happen.
No, he was a lovely young boy, and thank you very much, but no makeup.
Right.
But
No
how
talkies.
can they tell from a distance? By the time they've got close to you, they've committed.
From a distance.
Yeah. Extraordinary.
Just sang a little bit.
That was such an old dad's thing to do.
What song was that?
From a distance.
By who?
I can't
Bette
remember.
Midler.
Bette Midler, is it?
Yeah.
But there's a Four Tops one. From a distance. Woo.
No, there's From a Distance.
I can't believe this link has ended up like this.
Four Tops.
I blame myself.
Maybe she covered the Four Tops.
I'll tell you who would.
She was quite a woman in her youth.
I'll tell you who would know. We've had a text here. My partner has recorded every book she has ever read for years, and a friend's dad has a list of every song he's ever heard with a rating out of 5.
That can't... What? Every song he's ever heard. So he's now got to rate From a Distance. I'm not hopeful of a high
You can't
one.
listen to the radio, because that would be torment. Like the admin.
I mean, we put out as little music as we can get away with, but even so, he'd have to have one of those cricket scoreboards.
So, were you Four Topsing or Bette Midlering it? Can we just
I
establish?
don't know.
From a distance, ooh. It's the
I'm
Four
not sure it
Tops.
was that.
Bette Midler.
Well, I mean, she could have covered a Four Top song. That's possible. Well, someone will know out there. That's the great thing about our crowd. They know everything.
Thank you.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Jason Clogg has texted in.
Jason Clogg?
Yeah.
Okay.
From a Distance was sung by Nancy Griffith, Bette Midler, and then by Sir Cliff.
What? No Four Tops?
No.
That's, I owned it by the Four Tops. I think I saw them do it live.
No.
I used to be a big fan of the Four Tops.
Well, obviously not that big.
I told a lie in order to get... Well, I maintain... I would put money on the fact that they did From a Distance.
Okay.
I saw them at the Belgrade Theatre in Coventry, and I was so desperate to get down and shake the hands of the likes of Abdul Fakir, that was one of their people, that I pretended to the usher that my girlfriend had dropped her purse over the edge, so we went down to get it, and I went up and shook hands with the Four Tops. That's how keen I was. This was in my Tamler period.
Okay.
Is that another impression of no one?
Yeah.
No, but he's got us onto the subject of music, which I'm pleased about, because I would like to discuss the Grammys with you.
Oh, yes.
Both
Is that those old Russian women that was in the Eurovision Song Contest?
Oh, I love
What
what happened
good.
to them?
Well, I think we can guess what happened to them.
What, they-
Three dead, 2 in a gulag.
oh no, that's the people on the jump.
Oh, right.
So, there was a lot of controversy with these Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, Sir Paul McCartney.
Oh, yes.
I mean, did you see this, boys? He
Oh,
was
yeah.
turned away from Tiger with a Wise post-Grammy party.
Yeah.
And he was told, no, you're not coming in. Did you see the video? I watched the whole thing. It was him, there
I
was
watched the
Beck, there was
video.
the Foo Fighters drama or
I
whatever.
watched the video twice.
Yes, I have to say the Foo Fighters drama had less of an argument. Sir Paul McCartney, and he was a chancer.
And Beck.
Yeah.
And Beck, I mean,
Although
Yeah.
Sir Paul did say, how VIP do we got to get?
that was a very good line.
I didn't like the grammar in that. I didn't, because he's...
Well, his wife's American.
Yeah,
you
but
know, these
he's
people
not, is
can't
he?
help it.
I thought he was being slight. Did Labyrinth get in?
Labyrinth.
You know Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I've recently discovered Labyrinth is quite a big star, even though it's completely passed me by. So
Are you-
I'm imagining he was in
Well,
there.
to be honest, I would hope that there was Labyrinth in there, because if I'm going to a nightclub that's got a tiger in it, I'd want there to be, you know...
Yes.
I can't believe he was trying that after what happened to Siegfried and Roy.
I am a man who couldn't find his headphones on his head. I hadn't heard of Tiger. Is he?
Have you not heard of
I've not heard of
Tiger?
Is he a big star?
Yes, and he goes out with Kylie Jenner.
Oh, does he?
Oh, does he? Is that not the one that used to be Bruce?
No, it's his daughter.
Oh,
Her
okay.
daughter. It's Kim Kardashian's sister, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sure she's lovely. They're a handsome family, if foolish. Okay. Did you know Tiger, Alan?
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of
Charlie,
his,
did you know Tiger?
his work.
Charlie didn't.
But I love
If you
the
go
fact
onto
that
his
Macca-
website, is it ooh, that tiger, ooh, that tiger, ooh, that tiger, ooh, that tiger, ooh, that tiger. Help me out of this.
I haven't
Ooh,
been-
that tiger, ooh, that tiger. Dim, 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 ooh, that tiger.
Maybe? Does that help you out of it?
I bet he's
Maybe.
never heard it. Even though he's called Tiger, I bet he's never heard that song. And that is what's gone wrong. There's been a disconnect.
Yeah.
When I saw Paul McCartney poke his little head round that door, someone was coming out, and you just saw as a little slither of what life was like inside that hallowed VIP area,
Oh, yeah.
and the noise and the dreadful people. And I just thought, I think you've dodged a bullet, Paul. I think I wouldn't want to be inside there. It looked like Hades.
I don't think we should say that Paul McCartney has dodged a
was
bullet. It
just saying
seems a bit inappropriate.
It's slightly...
Yeah, but,
You know what I mean, Frank?
it did, but
Don't you think it looks
can't-
horrible?
I can't think of many people who are more famous than Paul McCartney.
No.
As he says, what you got to do.
yeah, he did... there was a slightly... emboldening himself bit where he went, oh, I think we're going to have to write another hit, guys.
Yeah,
or something
no,
like that.
I don't think he should have committed to that at this stage. He might not be getting in anywhere for a while.
Well, they
Yeah.
did. They had that Blackbird one, didn't they?
Oh,
Blackbird singing in the dead end. That's
Is that
been
the
a
Four
while
Tops?
back.
Best Beatles
No.
song ever.
And they did that from a distance. Yeah.
Did any of you notice his gum chewing? He was chewing his gum like he had a piece of gum in, and all the way through the cliff, he's
Who was?
McCartney.
That was rage. That's the way coping with rage.
I just assumed that he was rehabbing a dislocated jaw. I don't know what else
Well.
it could be, but it was fevered. It was fevered gum chewing.
Oh, let's have a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I was once going to the before I hosted the Brits. I went to the Brits a couple of times, and I went there, and I went to go to this exclusive sort of backstage party, and
yeah.
they wouldn't let me in.
Oh, no.
And Michael Hutchence came over and vouched for me.
Oh, well, we'd met him together, Frank.
Yes, head to toe in velvet he was. Oh, he was collecting the lint. But I was, I remember walking past the bouncer when Michael Hutchence had come up. I just slightly clutched his upper arm and smiled. It was a lovely moment.
Well done.
Oh, I'd been led in by the Lizard King.
We've all been there. Been
Yes.
turned away from... Oh, no.
yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I have.
No, it has happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
I just styled it out.
Yes.
What you got to do?
I think Paul McCartney styled it out. I thought his approach. It wasn't a reproach. It was was that a Freudian? I don't know. But I liked him. Good night.
Absolute
Absolute.
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've had another text saying that I sound like I'm
In the bathroom.
It says under the table, actually. That
under
one.
the table. It's been a while.
We've
Sometimes
also
it gives
got-
me hiccups.
We've got a good text in for you.
Oh, yeah?
The Four Tops did do a cover of From a Distance in 1981.
There you go,
It was
darling.
the 6th track on their album Tonight.
Ah, yes.
Oh, you've got that, have you?
Yes.
Really?
Somewhere.
On vinyl, probably.
It probably is on vinyl, yeah. But I was correct. Oh, I know me tops. Don't worry about that.
So the Grammys.
Oh, the Grammys, yes.
Yeah.
So first you had... Sorry, Alan.
I was just going to say, is it common knowledge that Paul McCartney and Beck are mates? That was a bit of a
They
snapshot
might
into...
just have hooked up that
What
night.
do you think? They met at the party and
Yeah,
they
they
were
might
like...
have met at the door.
You think
part
he was
of the
like,
queue.
oh, you going to the party? Tiger.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And Beck said, why, sure. Yeah, I'm going with you,
Yeah,
Mr.
jump in.
Courtney.
Jump in if you want.
Sir Paul, actually. Sir Paul. What kind of a hell name is that? It's my Beck out the way. I've done my becking.
There was another incident with Adele.
Oh,
Her sound went wrong.
Yes.
The mics fell onto the piano strings.
She
Well-
had a mare, didn't she? She had a nightmare.
well, did the mics fall on?
Oh, do you think they didn't? What do you think?
Well, I mean, she's got a beautiful voice, Adele. She sounded terrible for about 20 seconds. I thought maybe she just, had a bit of a wobble. We all have them.
I don't know what you mean.
Well,
What have you heard
She
about
said
my
she
gigs?
regretted pushing through, and that she wishes
we've all regretted that.
she wishes that she just stopped and said, "No, I can't do this. It sounds wrong."
Like thing he did once on The Voice. Who was the woman with the fringe on The Voice?
Oh,
Jay.
I think you might have to narrow it down.
Jamie J. Come
Jessie
on,
J.
Jessie J.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. And who is Gaza? And she started to do a live thing and she just stopped and said, no, the sound's wrong. Do you remember that live
Did
on
she?
television?
Oh.
Oh, sure, she got some guts.
Well, it was similar to when I saw Russell Grant's live show,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and the feather boa got caught up in the coat stand.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to say some sort of agricultural machinery and he was killed. I was going to say, I'm looking forward to seeing his picture on the Oscar tributes section.
And a sorry,
I think you
and
should
a
have told us before
stagehand.
now.
Imagine if he came up on the Oscar tributes thing and people say, what? Who the hell is that?
A stagehand came over to fix it and went, "No, leave that now."
Oh, dear,
Yeah, he was angry. He's a lovely man, though.
No, we're not condemning his human essence.
Not at all.
He's fabulous. Anyway,
Can I say that when I sang Three Lions 98 live on TFI Friday, can I
That
point
was
out?
bad.
Yeah, can I point out that a microphone had fallen on the piano string?
why was that so bad?
Didn't
when you sang
realise it
that
at the
live?
time, but looking back, that's exactly what happened. Also, it stayed there for the whole song. No one moved it.
Do you know, I'd forgotten how bad that was.
It was absolutely. It's
Well-
one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Can I just say, young people, Google it. I couldn't believe it, and I knew
Is it
Frank
on
at the
YouTube?
time. Well, if it isn't, can someone upload it? Because, Frank, you came out of it quite badly. David Baddiel.
No, we were both terrible. I mean,
Well,
usually, I don't think he'd argue with this. I sang better than him, but on this case, we both went to the very depths. But, if there's a mic on the piano strings, what can you do? I was trapped. She said she cried for the whole of the next day, thinking about it. And that reminded me when I hosted the Brits. Not for the whole day, but I certainly cried as long until I recalled my fee.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've got a problem, I'm afraid.
What?
We've turned the show into something of a pop quiz accidentally.
Have we?
Yeah. We've had a text here. Hi, From a Distance wasn't written until 1987, so if the Four Tops did a song called that, it was not the same song. That's from Noel Rowland, sorry.
Well, I think I sang their version.
And we've also had a text saying...
The producer's phone is going off.
Four Top's album Tonight, released 1981, has From a Distance on it, but don't think released as a single. So they could have sung it at a concert. Frank is right, I think.
There you go.
But that contradicts.
I think we've established that they did a song called From a Distance.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to look back now from a distance. By the way, my spectacles, which I bought recently, which were based on the spectacles that Gregory Peck wore when he played Atticus Finch.
And can I say
all over the papers today.
Of course they are.
Rather fine on you.
Yeah, thank you. But because of the death of Harper Lee, they're everywhere. I bought just in time.
Oh yeah, they'll be sold out.
Oh, there's
now.
going to be. It's like when people who bought pork bellies just before the great pork belly rush. They'll be worth a fortune. These glasses now. Now Harper Lee's gone down. God bless her. What about? Did you see Johnny Depp's band?
Yes.
I didn't. Did you guys?
I did, yeah.
I did.
Was it good? Was it a
Hollywood
super
Vampires.
Group? Is it a super group? That's what they call it, isn't
Cooper singing on it.
it? Super.
Well,
Super Cooper.
it was a bit Tom Jones at the start of The Voice, you know, and they all have to sing together and it's a bit weird.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
They had Alice Cooper, a man from Guns N' Roses,
That's what
Doff.
his name is.
Joe Perry, who I believe is in Aerosmith.
Doff from
Oh, is it?
Guns N' Roses. It was the bloke who said that he drank he drank a gallon of vodka a day, he said.
Oh.
He did not.
That sounds unlikely.
Such a big lie.
One thing I didn't like was when Alice Cooper was talking about them, and he said, the thing about the vampires is we have to carefully schedule gigs for the vampires. I thought, don't call them the vampires like it's the Stones and everyone knows them. This is the first time they perform.
No, he is right about the carefully scheduling gigs, though, because daylight can ruin their gigs.
That's true. That's true. All running water.
Yeah.
And they won't be doing any churches.
There was one slightly off-sounding guitar. It went a bit three lines.
Well, there was a microphone on the piano strings.
Yeah, but out of all of those men in the Hollywood Vampires, who's your finger pointing at? I know who's mine is.
JD, do you think?
Of course it is, come on.
I love...
He doesn't know what he's
It's
doing in the
JD.
music
He doesn't
world.
know.
He's
You don't know
walking
what
into
you're
stuff.
doing.
Yeah, he's walking into
my
stuff.
favourite quote from the Johnny Depp people is said that Johnny has to balance his commitment to the vampires with his commitments to filming the Invisible Man movie. I thought, well, there's scope for a day off or two with that one, isn't there?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Yes, I'm not sure about those Hollywood vampires. And also, they've all got hats.
Oh, do they?
Now, we all know when the middle-aged man wears a hat, it just makes me nervous.
Men of a certain age, yeah.
I saw who was the bloke who was married to I'm having a slight problem with names.
Oh,
the
I
woman
think
who's
I know.
now
I love
married
this, it's
to
so pensioner.
Jamie Lee James.
Jamie Lee
Earl
Curtis.
James, Earl James Jones, Early James.
Is it married?
Sorry, my guess was
Is
going to
it
be
Christopher
Brian
Guest
May.
married to Jamie Lee Curtis?
No, his
Is
name
it-
was Jamie Earl James Jones. James.
There's no such person.
He was married
JJ,
to.
that's what people
He's
call him.
married to the woman who now is married to Brad Pitt.
I feel a bit like I'm talking to my gran
You're talking
now.
about you're talking about Tom. No, it's not Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy.
No, he wasn't married to Angelina Jolie.
Tommy Lee Miller.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Johnny Miller.
No, leave it with me. I'll get
Tommy
it.
Lee Jones was married to.
No, he
Angelina.
wasn't. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
No, Johnny Miller was.
No.
No.
Bobby.
He was.
I tell you, he played the Janus-faced man.
Yeah.
In,
What's his name? Anyway.
I think it is Tommy Lee Jones.
No,
isn't it?
that's not.
Anyway, him.
Yeah.
He had a band. I saw them play.
Bobby Lee something. It is. Anyway.
Jerry Lee Lewis. Yes, him. Anyway, so you're all laughing at me for not knowing him. No, you don't know him.
I can't believe I can't remember
yeah.
that.
He was married
Billy
to
Bob
Angela.
Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton, yes.
Charlie the producer.
I've been in his chocolate cabin. But that's another story. Yes,
God.
well, he was married to Angelina Jolie, was he?
Yes, he
yes.
was, yeah.
Didn't
he?
she carry a file of his blood around her neck or something like that?
Yes, and thank you for
Shit.
all the people who texted in Billy Bob Thornton.
Thanks very much.
Billy Bill.
It was Billy Bob. I
Some
should
of
have
them
known it
will
was
again in
Billy
another
Bob.
hour.
Hey, Billy Bob. Billy Bob.
Also, 546 says, Morning, Frank. I keep a spreadsheet of all the Bucks Fizz records I own. So far, it's over 200 from all over the world. Bucks Fizz fan in Norwich.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
There you go.
Oh, so he's buying them with different covers? Is that what he's doing? From all over the world? Or
Yeah,
from
but different-
live concerts?
Different releases.
I see.
That's my guess. He's a completist, a Box Fizz completist. What's wrong with that?
No, it's not. I'm not.
I
having go,
work with a
just-
producer who does a lot of big TV shows. Look him up. Spencer Millman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his dad made the Velcro skirts for ripping off in
That
the
is
making
excellent.
your
Excellent.
mind up thing. So
Is that all he did, or did he do something else?
no, he just did that.
Okay.
He
Well, he'd
waited there.
retire after that.
They kept him in a hotel room. They just left the food by the door until they were ready for the skirts, and that was it. That was his life done. But in many ways, he achieved more than a great many of us do.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had some great news in on the text messages, guys. The last link was... It was a bit like verbal spaghetti about Billy
scattergun.
Bob Thornton,
was
Johnny Lee
awful.
Miller.
Tommy Lee Jones.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as the ballet link, but it was a different kind of strange,
No, it was-
wasn't it?
it was-
a different
I-
kind
I-
of
I-
strange.
Can I tell you what it was? It was Dressing Room of the Golden Girls.
It was.
That's really what it sounded like.
It was. I had a minor breakdown.
Yeah.
Well,
Tommy, Johnny, Lee, Tommy.
Tommy Lee Jones.
great
Really?
news, guys. Paul has texted in, and I mean, I would have read this anyway, but here it is. It says, Alun is, brackets, as always, exclamation mark. Alun is, as always, right. Angelina Jolie was...
Don't read that out about yourself.
I can. Angelina Jolie was married to Johnny Lee Miller in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Married Billy Bob before deciding that trailer park names were bad luck and settled for single barrel forename. Brad,
Yes.
you're welcome. That's what I said. I said that she was married to Johnny Lee
Well, yeah,
Miller,
I
and you
knew
both
that.
said no.
I didn't say no. I just said that wasn't Billy Bob Thornton.
You said she was
Oh.
married to Jamie Lee Curtis, didn't you?
Exactly.
I think
And then you said Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
John
think
Lee
that-
Hooker, I think, was
Oh, let's
mentioned.
not go down this road
He's
again.
good. He
Yeah.
was good.
Well, anyway, we got that it was Billy Bob. Anyway, I didn't tell. I saw his band at the Union Chapel in Islington in North
Oh, yeah.
London.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, I walked out after 4 songs. It was so terrible.
Oh, really?
Was it
Maybe,
worse than your performance of Three Lions on TFI Friday?
Well, it was worse in that I think we accepted that we weren't good, and I think Billy Bob's a man who probably takes himself a little seriously, even though he's got 2 abbreviated forenames. If he was called, what would it be? W.R. Thornton.
I suspect he speaks like your old oil prospector, Frank.
I don't remember him. He said something about when he got depressed and he didn't leave his room for 2 years or something like that.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I'm starting to envy you that. At least you didn't come to a gig like this. Anyway, he had his... I think we can say he had Angelina's golden years. So there's pluses.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
In a bit, into the mic. Go on.
Yeah, speak in the mic.
People are saying...
Okay, the calling for calling's with my ruin. I'll go no more, the calling with you, fair mine.
There's a mic falling on the piano.
I don't know.
I think there's a mic on the piano.
I'll have a mead, please.
Mic on the piano, I know.
You know this thing with Adele saying how the sound was wrong? Was there not...
She addled.
She addled. Was there not a point that afternoon where they went 1 2 testing 1 2? Because that seems to be like the industry standard.
They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that.
No.
You can't do that in the current climate.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I think you have to do it in Sanskrit.
Oh.
What did you
Lady
speaking of
Gaga.
offence? Oh yes, Lady Gaga.
Well, we were talking about the Grammys, and she did this David Bowie tribute.
Ha!
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Well, I did. Did you see it, Al?
I have not seen it, but I hear there was a brouhaha about the Gaga.
Well, I mean, the brouhaha was about the fact that she bookended it if that's the word, with 2 adverts for Intel.
Yes.
I don't really know what Intel is. It's something I've read.
It's a Pentium processor.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is either.
It sounded really convincing.
I've seen it on a laptop. When they said Intel, I thought...
It's got the 4... do or something, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yes, that's his little... And someone... It's one of those urban myths that someone is a multimillionaire as a result of those 4 notes.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
But...
Sounds good.
So that's been the fuss, that she did a tribute to Bowie, which was bookended by an advert for Intel, which seems poor taste. But no one's mentioned that the medley of Bowie hits she did was terrible. There must have been another mic on the piano.
It sounds like the piano's where they keep the mics at this
I tell you
concert.
what,
Also...
But when you do a medley, they have to work... The songs have to blend into each other. So it would go, let's dance, and sing the blues... Is the life on Mars? I mean, it was really... It was sob jive, Bunny. It was... it was
What other word said against jive?
I once saw Zoe Springsteen at the Barn Social Club in Aston, who was a woman in her mid-40s who came on and said, clap your hands if you love Tamla Motown. And she did a Tamla Motown medley that was better than what Lady Gaga did the other night. Partly because she slightly misjudged the length of her dress, so when she rose her hands above her head to clap, there was a pants moment. I don't think it was deliberate.
there?
I think had it been deliberate, to be honest, she'd have chosen better pants.
Oh.
But it was...
Gaga.
M&S stripies.
They were stripy.
Do you know, I found the constant costume changes. It was a bit Opportunity Knox impressionist, delving into the suitcase behind
The
him.
whole thing was...
I mean, I can't have that.
Not just the advertising, but the advertising surrounding something terrible. As far as I'm concerned, she's finished in our house.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 8 12 15, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
And we're in a different studio, which is why we sound slightly differently, but we're still bringing the same jocularity to...
Yeah.
You know...
It's a bit Good
Still
Morning
bringing
Vietnam.
you good times on a Saturday morning.
That's right. And apparently there's been another brouhaha. It's not just Lady Gaga.
Your
It's
brouhaha.
all
Crazy.
brouhaha. Apparently, Geri Halliwell has been accused of changing her accent. She was on Bake Off or something.
She
Yeah.
won it, I think.
Mediterranean
She won it.
tart,
Come on.
Yep, that was one of the other contestants. Let's move on.
chocolate tray bake.
Tray Bon, Tray Bake.
And Ginger Jumper as well, which is, I believe, what she calls her husband.
She won, didn't she?
No, she did a thing called the Ginger Jumper, which was a tribute to Greg Rutherford, the ginger-haired long jumper.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
They had
kind.
to do a sports theme.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I mean, she won. I mean, she's got a great amount of stick for doing a programme free to raise money for people in the third world.
Oh, he's such a Halliwell apologist.
What a monster she is.
Well, it wasn't
There's
that they were
elements
cross
of-
about. People gave her stick because they said she changed her accent. They said she's a girl from Watford. That's what was so endearing about her. And
Hold on a minute. When was the public endeared by Geri? She's always been the one who's had the most stick.
No, you just like to think that because then you feel you're supporting the underdog.
He loves
Well,
an underdog.
I know.
I don't like
Loves-
gingerism.
No, but she
Right.
was the one men fancied the most.
Was she?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Anyway, the point is, she had this posh accent, apparently. And everyone kept saying on Twitter, why is she talking like this? Now, if you've got increased cash flow, you're going to be hanging around with poshins. I guess that's why.
Is her husband posh? Christian Horner?
I would imagine so.
I imagine so. They are married. No, if he's posh, sometimes you can hang around with people and pick up their accents.
Oh,
by
yes.
osmosis.
That is a bit embarrassing, isn't
This
it?
is why the royal family aren't allowed to marry into the working classes. There'd be room forever. But
Right.
Kath, certainly, when I first
She's
went
got
out
more
with her,
Birmingham since she's been with you.
she had some Birmingham vowels.
Right.
So I just think she's accidentally fallen into the posh society, and I don't think it's deliberate.
I love putting on a posh voice, though, when I've got to make phone calls.
She was baking. Just baking sort of elevates your social status because it's all like high tea. Yeah, we're having cake, and even then, just talking about baking, I went a bit posher.
Well, let me refer you to Greg's.
Right, yeah, they
do a lot of baking.
They do a lot of baking.
I think they've managed to stay close to their roots.
I've not ever really baked. Does a potato count? I don't think it does.
No.
As baking.
Well, that's interesting, that.
I've done that. That'd be good if I was on Celebrity Bake Off. For a start, there would be a question mark about the booking policy. But if they went, and now it's over to Alun, and he's done a potato.
Well, I liked the accent. I thought it was...
Geri's accent?
I thought it suited her. You didn't?
Well...
She looked like a really good edit of the Duchess of York.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Which
I can't
we've all
judge.
yearned for.
I can't judge, Frank, because I do put on a slightly faux East End accent if I get in a cab sometimes.
You're doing it now? No.
No, I'll just say, all right, mate, just round here. Oh, I know what you mean.
You don't.
Wow.
I do a little bit, because I want to bond with him. I do. I've done that with certain boyfriends as well. Just ones that don't speak speak
Good
differently.
English.
Unfortunately, I've never been out with any Wild West old-timers. Otherwise, I could have done that as well.
You could have fooled me.
I remember, I did teacher training at the school for a day. And for some reason, when I spoke to the class, I did it in the voice of Merseyside poet Roger McGough.
No.
Good morning, everyone, and how are you? And honestly, I didn't know it. Once I'd started, of course, I was stuck with it.
Yeah.
Paul, don't do that, please. Anyway, now we're going to talk about... And I really did. I could hear it in my head, and I was trapped. I was Roger McGough for the whole day.
Can I say I respect you two for keeping your accents? There's many people that come up to the big smoke and change their ways. Not you two. Not Frank and Alun.
I think mine has been slightly watered down.
Yeah, me too.
Because I know when I go to West Brom games, I feel it crank back up again.
Right.
But I'll say, what can you do? You quarter nothing, can you?
Not a word. Didn't know.
Why is
exactly.
Adrian Charles's accent so much stronger than yours? It's so strong.
He tries harder, dear. The middle classes do.
Frank Skinner
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So, what were we talking about? Yeah, it's interesting in the same way that Christopher Eccleston and Julie Walters were saying that it's a massive advantage in the acting profession to have a posh accent. Which I think is definitely true.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm never going to be Sherlock Holmes, am I? Watson. Yeah, I could put that there, my man. That's not going to happen.
No. You'd
It's
be
true.
restricted, certainly.
Yeah,
in the roles that you could play. Or you could act, dear.
So maybe Geri's thought, it's time to, if you can't beat them, join them. Also, social mobility and all that.
I know, but when they have elocution lessons, one can always tell.
Well, she once bought me 8 pairs of pants, and I suppose I've always loved her since then.
Did she?
She did.
That's nice. Was it a special occasion, or had you...
What's a collective noun for pants? Anyone?
Pants?
Is it a murder of pants? That's crows, isn't it?
That's crows, yeah.
I think a murder of pants is a really bad night out, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've got to be careful.
A gaggle of pants.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe I'm exaggerating. I think it was 4 pairs.
Why did she give you the pants?
Because I think it was a joke. Do you remember there used to be that footage of me dancing in my pants?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for the Venga Boys.
And they were a sort of a cheaper brief. So she bought me some stylish Calvin Klein boxers.
Nice. And now you get sent the Bjorn Borgs, of course.
Yes.
I tell you what, that went wild. That went viral.
Talk about social mobility. There you are.
Yes, my private parts were a victim of the Boxer Rebellion. Not many people can say that.
Coming up to him in the street about that clip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. That was my golden moment. Anyway, we love Geri on this show. Geri Horner. No, I just gave her a friendly embrace.
God.
So,
Oh, Frank, I'd like to read out a missive we've had in.
Lovely.
This one concerns Alan Cochrane, and it's from Prisoner 805.
Okay.
Morning, Emily, Frank, but more importantly, Alan.
Like it so far?
Okay.
I like Emily Frank. That's the one who didn't go in the attic. Now to hell with it. I'm just going to sit in the garden. Let them come.
And we all know that would have been my attitude as well.
Exactly.
Long-time reader, first-time writer. This week, my wife and I experienced the most peculiar outing of the year so far when on Tuesday night we journeyed north. End of the email. No, not really. To join Alun for an evening of wisdom and chuckles. We could only assume that our sat-nav was on the blink when we arrived at our destination on a darkened industrial estate outside a bowling alley / roller disco.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, they still have roller discos. I thought they disappeared.
I think I know what this email is about. It's a
But
tour
no.
date, I think.
The youth ticking off names at the entrance confirmed our safe arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy accompanied by the booming sounds of a roller disco may well be the future.
Yeah.
It had certainly had the feel of a working men's club in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We will certainly see him again for the feeling of nostalgia.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That was... it was a strange tour date, Frank. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I spoke to more than 95% of the audience for the entire show. There was a constant stream of departures and returns.
I had one of those in Bradford once. People
Very peculiar.
they were weeing
Yes.
from about 5 minutes in, and it never stopped.
Well, it began with a woman leaving and said, "I'm sorry, my children aren't well, I've got to go." And I said, "Okay,
Well, that's
fine."
fair enough, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
really. I mean, I did say you can't have your money back, but you can go. And and then she came back and said something to her husband and
But
went
they
again.
got better.
No, I did say it. They're fine again. And then the husband went and he came back saying, "Yeah, she couldn't start my car. She didn't know how to work it." And I said, "Have you two just met? I thought you were a family." They were fine, the children, but the husband stayed to watch the show. It was, but very, very peculiar. And yes, in a very gaudy place, a roller disco of all places.
I mean, I honestly thought they only happened in Glee.
What, the roller discos?
Yeah, very odd.
Wow.
That's not the only missive we've had in for Alan this morning.
Oh, yeah. Well,
love
can
in
we
this
hold
section.
this one? Because, as you know, on commercial radio, we have certain commitments to
Okay.
the
But the Alan show will be back in a
to the
minute.
business sector. And here they come.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Dear Frank, Emily and Lecoq Sportif, I was waiting in the queue of a popular coffee franchise at a motorway service station on Thursday night when who should stand behind me but the one and only Alan Cochrane. After paying the extortionate rate of £8 for a hot chocolate and
What?
wait
No.
for this, and a milkshake.
This
Which
isn't
makes-
me, by the way, that was
No.
them.
Which may seem reasonable down in the big smoke, I realised that Alan was wearing a camouflage top with bright blue trainers and an equally eye-catching hat. Just wondering if any of you have ever felt the need to wear anything in particular to avoid attention, or equally to make sure you're the centre of it in any particular environment. No praise whatsoever, Terry in Wolverhampton.
Thanks, Terry. Nice to meet you. What you don't say is that hot chocolate and milkshake took about 20 minutes to make, and we were on a time budget on our way home. But
Intel?
yeah, exactly. He stumbled upon one of my game changers of recent weeks. Remember we talked about life hacks?
Yes.
So I did the gig that I think we can all agree was in a strange venue, the Newton Aycliffe one. We got stuck in traffic on the way back, and then we got some road closures. So got home at like 3 a.m, and the next day, me and Mike, the other comic that's on the show, are going to Bristol. Bristol from Manchester, goes past Birmingham, goes to Bristol. Tea time traffic, horrible.
Yes.
So I said to Mike on the way back, I went, tomorrow when we do this gig, I'm travelling in a tracksuit all the way there and all the way back.
That's how it starts.
I'm literally just putting on normal clothes for the show.
If you want to see the
Really?
worst dressed people in the world, go to a motorway service. Because people think, driving, you can just wear the worst things.
Do you think
ever.
that's
That
what it
is-
is?
but
I
I-
dress up lovely for the drive.
Oh, it was a beautiful game changer
I thought
for me.
I wouldn't want to be being cut out of a wreck with oxyacetylene equipment wearing that.
I'll tell you what, I took it a step further. I took in the boot of the vehicle a yoga mat and took it into the theatre. And
Wow.
whilst the first half was on, I sat on the floor and did some stretching and just unkinked all the, the driving, choose your back up and that. yoga mat and travelling in a tracksuit. That's what this tour is like.
It's like travelling with Jane Fonda.
It's an absolute game changer, and I'm glad he's brought it to our attention, because I've had another good game changer this week.
Go on.
But look, can I ask you a question before you move on to this? The
Sure,
cap
of course you can.
that you wear with the hat.
No, it was a woolly, almost like a beanie / ski.
Was that
thing.
Was it a bit
was-
ITV1 hooligan?
I'm not sure.
Because they have a beanie, but it looks a bit clean. You know what I mean?
I wonder if... Was it an attempt to not be recognised?
I don't think being recognised is troubling my life to that extent, Frank. I'm genuinely surprised.
Depends whether you're declaring these gigs.
To be honest, at the box office sales that I sell, I probably...
Don't go down that road. Don't go down that road.
Look, come on, love, it doesn't take a lot. I
Don't
got
go
recognised on the
down
tube
that
the
road.
other day.
Got
Come on.
recognised on the tube.
Yes.
Lovely.
Do you think
That
I'd
is
be a
lovely.
good sat-nav voice? Don't go down that road.
I find you comforting.
Yeah, I quite like doing it. Go down left. Don't worry if you miss it.
See, now that I know you and your terrible sense of direction, I wouldn't be able to take you as a sat-nav.
no,
Just
no.
like,
And then
just-
you'd get what if you made a mistake? You'd
think-
get, no!
I think, what are you telling me where to go for? You can't find your way out of Absolute every week.
A friend who used to live with me used to point out that when we played table football, every time I scored a goal, I'd say to him, "Concentrate!"
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, do you remember when you used to talk about your old Shep? And I remember you would sometimes talk about him dreaming.
Yes.
And I'd have a little whimper and a twitchy leg, maybe.
Yeah, they do that.
No, that was one of your exes, love.
I always thought maybe he was dreaming he was driving a clown car. We all dream that.
Well,
Yes, I do remember
This
that.
is why I like this story, because,
I was fascinated by watching him dream, I must admit.
well, he was properly dreaming, because boffins, you know them in the white coats, they've come up with some
Ice
new
cream men.
findings. And they've discovered that dogs actually dream in the same way as humans. So they dream about their day, like we would dream about their day, about our day. And depending on the animal, so let's say it's your whippet, Lucky,
Yeah,
he would specifically dream... Oh,
unless she's having a dream where she's a he.
these people are so
Do
sensitive
people
now.
do that? I've never dreamt I was a woman, have you?
I've not, no. But I don't see why.
I wonder if that people who become transsexual, I wonder if that's how it starts. You dream as a
Maybe.
woman and realise that's where you should be.
I worry about this area.
8, 12, 15.
Actually, the boffin talking about it is called not Dr. Nicholas Dodman. I mean, he's one letter away from the
so
nominative
close. If
determinism.
he'd been called
Very
Nicholas
close.
Dogman.
If I was him, if I answered the phone, I'd say Nicholas Dogman, so no one really knew.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. On the
know.
subject of nominative determinism, I didn't read it last week, but we had an email right at the end of the show, and I didn't have the chance, from someone saying that they'd been taught music at school by someone called Miss C Sharp.
Oh, that can't be right.
That is excellent, isn't it?
That's too good. That's like when you found the Zuniat for Mr. C. Lion.
Yeah.
Isn't it one of those?
First day at work prank.
Oh, have I fallen
Yeah.
for it?
Buckingham Palace asked for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Someone tried that on me.
Left-handed screwdriver. I mean, come on, people. Get a life.
Anyway, the dog
so
dreams.
so for example, your dog might dream about chasing after a dream bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And then a Doberman
What,
Pinscher.
Linda Lusardi?
I was going to say, not dissimilar to me, but that's another story.
You two are disgusting. A Doberman Pinscher, you're not really Al,
I am.
nor
Doberman
you,
Pinscher.
will chase a dream robber.
Oh.
you see?
And not only would they chase them, but when they attack them, they'll always go for the forearm, where the padding is.
Oh yeah,
Always, they're obsessed by the padding on these
I
birds.
love it.
you've watched so much Columbo, haven't you?
Yes.
So yeah,
But my big question has always
Go
been,
on.
I mean, first of all, what are we to do with the results of this research? That's what I want to know. I can't see the old Zika virus getting a knock. And also, the question I've always wanted to know is if my dog had dreamed that I was hitting it with a stick, would he have woke up and attacked me for hitting him with a stick. Do dogs have any sense of what is a dream and what is life, as they have no
I
concept of the subconscious?
8, 12, 15.
Yeah. I'd really like to know that now.
Yeah.
If my dog dreamt that we regularly had full contact kissing,
Oh. God,
and he woke up and I was sitting next to him, is he liable to?
He's not going to dream that.
Well, we don't know what they dream, do we?
Dream that.
I don't think we've actually identified the complete. I mean, I have a recurring dream that I'm defecating in a public place. Do dogs dream that?
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's one of my big embarrassing dreams.
Well, I suppose that is their day, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
They dream about what's happened. What about your Central Reservation dreams? Let's not even get on to that.
Well, that's true. I don't know why you brought that up.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What we're talking about, dog dreams. So we haven't had, no one's answered my question.
Well, no, we have
Saying.
actually. Dogs, like humans, can't tell the difference at the time, but when they wake up, it is irrelevant as they enter back to the default state of consciousness and quickly forget the dream. Source, my dog told me.
No.
Oh, he's pulled our leg there, hasn't
Well,
he?
that sounds like the Men in
only got
Black
one.
when
It's
their
got a
memories
dog
are
called
erased.
Sauce.
Yeah.
And what do we do? Well, yeah, but I suppose if I was there at the moment of waking up, I might get a bit of a snog
Well,
before he realised his error.
8112 says, somewhat controversially, dogs are thick. If a dog can lick a window thinking it's food for 3 hours, like mine does, then it goes to believe that he has no self-awareness. On the plus side, I don't need a window cleaner for that window. That's Dan from Northampton.
I didn't know they lit windows, thinking it was food. What is that about? Is the food on the other side of the window?
My dog doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She just lies around like a cat.
Oh, I don't want to be snogging a dog that's been licking a window. Could be dead
You
flies.
snogging any dog.
No, you're quite right.
Yeah, this show isn't like
You know what? I'm not doing it
Match.com
now.
for you.
Yeah, I've seen the light. I'm not doing it. My dog used to separate his toes and bring them back together when he was
Is
dreaming.
that Shep?
Yeah.
What,
Oh,
like,
did he?
like jazz hands?
No, I think. Oh,
I think he was
yeah.
dreaming.
That's what Wayne
Yeah.
Sleep does when he's dreaming.
Maybe he dreamt he was trampolining, and they spread on impact, and then he raised up again.
So, and also, the one thing I did find interesting, though, is that smaller dogs dream more frequently. Mm-hmm. And they have shorter dreams. And then
Well, they have shorter everything.
But larger dogs dream less but have longer dreams. So does that follow that with Alan and I, for example, I have shorter dreams?
I think it sounds like dreams can be exponentially balanced by the length of your legs.
Oh, wow.
That's what it sounds like.
My dreams
That's
are
why
very,
yours are like War and Peace, mine are like Betfair ads.
My dreams are very boring. I used to talk about this instead. I once dreamt that I had forgotten to renew my car tax. How boring's that? And my mother-in-law was saying, get Alan to renew his car
but then when
tax.
you got to the office, they said, yes, Mrs. Cochrane, can we help you? And that's how it starts. My fascination with dogs is the halfway pant. Do you know that?
The
What's that, then?
halfway pant.
I don't mean the halfway pant as in some sort of provocative way of wearing one's underwear.
What is this?
It's, you know, when dogs pant. When people
yeah.
do
Oh,
an
yeah.
impression of a dog panting, they go...
Yeah, yeah.
But in fact, dogs have a little rest in the middle of a pant in which they do a half pant.
Yes, they
when the
do.
tongue goes back, so they go...
They do, Frank.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I'm loving your dog work.
Don't use that as a trailer, by the way. People will be terrified. I think it's an anonymous phone
Can I
call.
just say, anyone who is going to write into the radio show, I love our readers, but don't say hi, Frank, and the other two, because I won't read it out. Thank you.
Oh, come on. I
tell
really
them.
want to know what it was now.
Do
Do you really?
Maybe it's somebody with short-term memory loss.
Do you really want to know what it was?
No, in case it's something
Okay.
horrible. Is it something horrible?
It was fine.
Okay. Thanks for calling. That'll be 50p. Now then, we've had a sign held up.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I tell you a story before we go?
Yeah.
I met Boris Johnson's dad at a book launch
Oh, he's worked with them all, hasn't he?
recently. And the reason I went over and spoke, I was introduced to him by Joan Bakewell, the Baroness, who has a new book out.
Oh, yes.
And I said, I've actually stayed in your house in Greece, in Pelion, in Greece. And I stayed in he just has it on the market, Boris Johnson's dad. So I stayed in his house then. And he said, oh, really? I had no idea. And I said, yeah. I said, one thing I would say about it is that often when you're away like that and it's very, very hot, you want to read. I said, there was only one book in the house, in the entire house, and that was your autobiography. And he said, I never thought. He said, I'm sorry. He said, oh, well, I can remedy that. He said, there's a second volume now. Not quite what I meant. Anyway, Andy Bush. I haven't lapsed into patois. Thank you so much for listening this morning, and thank you, Charlie, for standing in as producer. You've done an absolutely sterling job. I love your work.
A bit
Geri
Geri Halliwell.
Yes, exactly. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.